Okay, guys. Today we will start a new chapter that is called as Introduction to Robotics. Now, what you're supposed to have in a robotics, automation, everything we can discuss, and then we will discuss the contents related to the robotics. That is, one is robotics anatomy and related attributes, robot control system, end effectors, sensors in robotics, industrial robot applications, robot programming, robot accuracy and repeatability. Okay, these are all the things we are supposed to discuss in this today's class. Okay, now it's audible, right? Uh, Now, exactly? If I ask what is robot, what is actually an industrial robot or basically an defined robot? Okay, an industrial robot is nothing but is a general purpose programmable machine processing certain anthropomorphic characteristics. That is called as the robots. That is called as industrial robots, where it will save the human interventions, and then the human efforts will be saved. Everything will be taken care by the robots. And then why industrial robots are important? Robots can substitute for humans in hazardous work environments. Consistency and accuracy not attainable by humans. That is, robots can do work in any sort of environments. That is the major thing what you're supposed to have in this thing. That is, in any sort of hazardous environments or any sort of environments, the robot can work. And then main thing is the working comparison. If you do comparison with the robots as well as the humans, if you do comparison also, the consistency and accuracy will be very high compared to the human. That is that is the thing what you are supposed to not attainable by humans. That is the accuracy and consistency of the human, that depends upon his mood and all. Okay, but a robot doesn't have any sense, or that it will not normally think normally. Okay, it's not having any brain or something like that. What are the things we are supposed to give the input, that only it has to do its intended work. Therefore the consistency and the accuracy will be more, and then it can be reprogrammed whatever the things I want. Okay, for example, I want to uh, pick and place a part from one place to another place. Okay, that also I can do with the help of a robot. That is the main reason. That is, it can be reprogrammed. Okay, for example, for one robot I have designed for one particular applications, and then similarly I can reprogram the same robots for different applications. That is the major thing what you are supposed to have in the robotic environment. And then most robots are controlled by computers and can therefore be transferred to other computer systems. That is, it can be reprogrammed, and then it can be altered. Any programs, whatever things it is there, it can be done. That is the basic general things what you are supposed to have an idea regarding the robot. Okay, robot actually the thing what you are supposed to have is, what is the definition? Once again, I'm supposed to tell the definition of a robot. That is an a general purpose programmable machine possessing certain anthropomorphic characteristics, that is called as a robot. Okay, next, what is robotic anatomy? What is the anatomy of the robot? Okay, or what are the basic parts of the robot? Okay, the basic parts of the robot or anatomy of the robot, it consists of base, and then link 0, link 1, link 2, and then end effector. Okay, end effector is not part of the robot. Okay, or anatomy of the robot, or we can call it an open-ended arm. There we can fix any tools, any grippers, whatever the intended work to be carried out, that can be fixed. That's why it is not the part of the robot. Okay, for example, you can see these are all the things are there. This is called as, we can call it an grippers, or otherwise tool holding devices or work holding devices. Okay, now what are the anatomy of a robot? That is, one more thing is that the manipulator consists of joints, and that is, links are here in this robots. We are going to have joints, and then we are going to have links. I think we can call the robots as a human arm. Okay, we can correlate the robotic arm with respect to the human arm. That's why the links are rigid members, various types of joint will be there. That is linear type of joint will be there. There are n number of types of joints will be there. Each joint provides a degrees of freedom. Okay, that is n number of degrees of freedom will be there. N number of degrees of freedom in the sense like each robot will possess 3 degrees of freedom, 4 degrees of freedom, 1 degree of freedom, 2 degree of freedom, 5 degree of freedom, and then 6 degrees of freedom. Okay, degrees of freedom is nothing but the number of independent coordinates. Okay, for example, if it is moving in only one direction, that is called as 1 degree of freedom. That is along only along x, it is 1 degree of freedom. Only along the that is y, 1 degree of freedom. X and y, it is 2 degrees of freedom. And then that is actually there are 6 degrees of freedom will be there. That is 3 translation will be there, and then 3 rotational will be there. Okay, that is the robot, it possesses 6 degrees of freedom, 5 degrees of freedom system, 3 degrees of freedom system, 4 degrees of freedom system, 1 degree of freedom system, based upon the type of applications. Okay, and then most robot possesses 5 or 6 degrees of freedom system. Okay, and one more thing is that it is what are the main it consists of two sections, that is body and arm for positioning of objects in the robot's work volume, and then wrist assembly. We can call it an wrist assembly, or we can call it an end effector, that also we can call it. That is wrist assembly, it possesses, okay, there are n number of things can be how the wrist assembly will be uh, same as that of human wrist. Okay, whatever things you are supposed to have, if you want to handle anything else, there you will have translation, and then you can rotate your human wrist 360-degree like that and all. Okay, that is the major things what you are supposed to have in the robot. That is the anatomy of the robot. Okay, now what are the types of manipulators the robots consist of? Manipulators are types of joints. That is, what actually exactly the meaning of this is how the robots are how the robots will move. Okay, or how the types of different types of joints or different types of manipulators. Based upon that, it can move in linear, orthogonal, rotary motion, rotational joint, twisting movement, revolving joint, everything will be there. Okay, it can be classified into, that is a linear joint is there. That is, you can see this diagram, that is a linear joint, or we can call it some collinear joint. Input link will be there, output link will be there, and then this arrow mark shows that it can move to and fro. That is the thing what you're supposed to have. And then same thing, similarly, orthogonal joint will be there, rotational joint will be there. That is, input link will be there, output link will be there, and then it can rotate. This is the joint that it can rotate it. And then twisting joint is there, and then revolving joint is there. That is, input link will be there, output link will be there, and then it whole thing it can start revolving at this axis. This is the major thing what you're supposed to have in the, that is types of manipulator joints. That is, the robot with will possesses these kind of movements. That is linear movement, orthogonal movement, rotary motion, rotational joint, twisting joint, revolving joint. Okay, and then actually types of manipulator joint, there are two types. Other one is translation motion type of thing is there. And another one is there, it's called as rotary motion. Okay, it gives only translation motion. That is, it gives only rotary motion. That is, twisting is nothing but rotation. Revolving is also nothing but rotation. Rotational joint is nothing but rotation. Here, linear movement will be there. Orthogonal movement, that is to and fro motion will be there. And then linear joint, it is very very important. Okay, linear joint, it is type L. It is designated as L. That is linear. And then orthogonal joint is designated as O. And then rotational joint, it is designated as R. And then twisting joint, it is designated as T. Revolving joint is designated as V. This is very very important in the next slide. Okay, yeah, you can see here there are a number of things are there. Polar code, I will explain here. Okay, now another thing is very very important thing in robot is robotic body and arm configuration. There are n number of configurations are there. First one is polar coordinate body and arm assembly, cylindrical body and arm assembly, Cartesian coordinate body and arm assembly, jointed arm body and arm assembly, selective compliance assembly robot, or we can call it an robot, or we can call it an pick and place robot, or means we can call it an SCARA robot. Means it is meant for working functions, or it is meant for you can with the help of either you can do some internet works that is based upon the type of applications. Okay, now based upon the things what you're supposed to have in the robotic body and arm configuration. There are five types will be there. One is polar coordinate body and arm assembly will be there. And then in the previous case, I think you can see this is orthogonality. It can move like this, and then this can be swiveled, and this can be also, it can be rotated. Polar coordinate, that is we can call it some polar coordinate body and arm assembly. These are all called as body and arm assembly, but which coordinate? This is polar coordinate. And then this is cylindrical coordinate, that is it can move like this, and then this part can rotate. In Cartesian coordinate, this can move up and down, and then this part can move linear motion in this direction, and this part can move linearly with respect to this direction. And one more thing is there is, this is called a jointed arm configuration. Here, about this axis it can rotate, about this axis it can uh, twist, and then here this is the end arm. This also it can be twisted, and then this is called as para robot. Base will be there, and then link will be there, joints will be there, and then whenever whatever the intended function we have, that can be done. That is called as we can place the components from one place to another place. If we put the some magnetic type of thing or somewhat like that in at this part, okay, and then it will take, and then it will pick it, and then or we can put a wrist assembly or something like that, so that it will it will take the thing, and then it will place to the another point. That is one point to another point. If you want to move, we can use Cara robots. Okay, and then here I have given that note, that is a function of body and arm assembly. What is the function of body and arm assembly? The function of body and arm assembly is to position an end effector. That is example, a gripper, tool. There are a number of things are there. Okay, the position of what are the function of body and arm assembly is, we have to put an end effector. uh, I told in the previous slide that end effectors are not the part of a robot. Okay, end effectors are those where we can have some intended work with the help of the body and arm assembly. That is the case. Okay, in the next configuration, I can see the wrist assembly. I can show the wrist assembly. That is a wrist configuration, or we can call it a wrist assembly, is attached to end of the arm. In the I told in the previous slide that end of the arm, we can fix the end effectors, or we can fix the wrist based upon the type of application. End effectors is attached to the wrist assembly. Function of wrist assembly is to orient end effectors. Body and arm determines global position of end effectors. Okay, and then this wrist position, that is attached to the robotic arm. Okay, and then here there are a number of things will be there. That is 2 or 3 degrees of freedom system will be there. That is rolling, pitching, yawing. This is wrist configuration. That is rolling. uh, that is here it can roll in the sense like it rotate, it can rotate a 360 degree. And then yawing is nothing but at this axis, this part can move in this direction. That is called as yawing. And then pitching is there. At this axis it can move up and down. Okay, now once again I am supposed to explain. That is rolling can be done, yawing can be done, and then pitching can be done. That is pitching is nothing but it can move up and down. Okay, and then it is attached to the end of the arm of the robot. This is called as wrist configuration of the robot. Okay, next any doubts? You are if you are having any doubts, you can ask. Okay. Next is there, that is there are a number of applications of robots nowadays. Industry 4.0, industry 5. Now industry 5.0 is also came into exist. Okay, smart factories, a number of things are there. Okay, now what are the what are the application of industrial robot? Okay, where you are supposed to use the industrial robots. Okay, that is material handling applications. That is if you want to handle some big materials which is very high, very which weighing very which weighs very high. Okay, for example, a human can't move such kind of things, can be handled by the robots. And then excuse, material transfer, that can also be done. That is pick and place can be done. That is from one point to another point. Okay, the robot, it will take the component, and then it will put the same component in the another position. Okay, that also can be done. And then machine For the CNC machine, the loading and unloading can be done with the help of a robot. Okay, that is the basic applications of industrial applications. Okay, next another thing is there, that is those are all industrial applications of how to handle the materials. And then another thing is there is processing operation. Okay, the robots can also do spot welding and continuous arc welding, spray coating, other water jet cutting, laser cutting, grinding. Okay, these are all the various kinds of things the robot will do with its own. Okay, and then the accuracy will be very high, repeatability will be very high. Okay, compared to the humans, that is the major thing. And then the robot can also be used for assembly line and inspection. That is, for example, if I want to assemble a car, okay, for assembling a car, okay, I can use the robots. Okay, and then after assembling and all, I want to do inspection that the all the parts has been fixed in the car. Okay, for that I can use the robot. That is the major thing what I'm supposed to tell today. Okay, it plays a vital role in the industries, especially in manufacturing industries, industrial, household utensils. Everything can be, that is, if you want in your house also, you can. It is available. The small robots will be there, which do that is washing of clothes. And then if you want to and then nowadays in restaurants also you can have the robots. Robot is also there in Bangalore also, it is there in some of the restaurants where if you order, the order will be taken care by the robots, not by the server or somewhat like that. These are all the things what you're supposed to have in a robots. That is the application with respect to the robots. Okay, now how you are supposed to program, or how the robots work. Actually robot work on the basis of some programming language. Okay, we have to, there are three robot programming methods are there. Okay, that is, one is manually teaching, we have to do manual teaching, lead through teaching, programming language. There are a number of things are there. Okay, that is one is robot programming language is there, and then lead through programming language is there, and then we can teach manual also. Okay, manually how you are supposed to teach is convenient for, if you do manual teaching, it will be convenient for continuous path control. Robots, human programmer physically moves manipulator through motion cycle and record cycle into memory. That is the thing how you are supposed to have in a manual teaching. Okay, and then manual teaching, whatever the things you are supposed to do it. Okay, you will not have any kind of the human will not have any kind of uh, uh, what you can have you can tell that it will listens your words, and then it will do the intended function, what are the things you are supposed to program. That is called as manual teaching. Lead through teaching is there. There are a number of languages are in the lead through programming. Work cycle is taught to robot by moving the manipulator to the required motion cycle and simultaneously entering the program into controller memory for later playback. That is, we program everything and then we put into the brain of the robot or somewhat like that. In the sense, like I'm just telling brain. Okay, and then if after later, if I tell to the robot that stand up, it will stand. Go walk for 4 steps, it will walk. Previously we have to everything we have to uh, we have to programmed in such a way that whatever the program we have done, that will be executed by the robot. That is called as lead through teaching. Okay, and then in that powered lead through is there. There are a number of things are there. That is common point to point robot uses teach. So many parameters are there in this. Some codes, some there are a number of things are there with respect to robotic programming and all. And then it's very vast subject also. Okay, for syllabus point of view, I'm just giving a brief thing on what are the that is methods, okay, or programming languages for robot, how you are supposed to program a robot. Okay, next we will have computations and data processing similar to computer programming language. That is one of the best thing what you are supposed to have in a robot is that is communication with other computer systems. Here one more thing is there. That is a main thing, robot accuracy and repeatability. Okay, normally how we are supposed to do the program for CNC machine, DNC machine, NC machines, or so many types of machines are there. Same thing here we have to do. For example, for NC machine, what we will do, we will take the punch cards, we will take the magnetic tapes, and then we'll insert, and then I will tell that you compile it or you start the program. Okay. If I start, whatever the things it is there in the chip, or it is there in the floppy disk, or it is there in the punch card, the same thing will be executed. Here also, the robot works on the same principle, but in the background, we are going to have some n number of things. For example, normally pen drive will be there, and then such kind of a things. Here also for a robot, punch cards, magnetic tapes, and then everything will be programmed, and then it can be put into the robot. Okay. And the main thing, if you are supposed to have that, you have to keep in your mind that the three terms used to define precision in robotics is similar to the numerical machines. That is, one is control resolution, accuracy should be high, repeatability. What is control resolution? Capability of robots positioning system to divide the motion range of each joint into closely spaced points. Accuracy, capability of to position the robot's wrist at a desired location in the workspace given the limits of robot's control resolution. Repeatability, capability to position the wrist at a previously thought point in the workspace. That is what actually exactly it means is, okay, now repeatability is nothing but, for example, there will be 2 points will be there. I want to transfer maybe around some 10 kg of stone or whatever, maybe from one place to another place. Okay. If the robot, it will fix what is repeatability I'm telling. If the robot, it will fix, and then it will puts 100 times same thing, same it will fix from the point one, it will fix drop to the point two, once again fix from the point two, drop to the point one. But we have to program in such a way that it has to pick from point one, drop to point two. That is one kind of a program. Or we have to program in such a way that pick from point one, drop to point two, pick once again, pick from point two, drop to point one. If that case is there, then the robot will do its intended work with repeatability. If high, in the sense like out of 100 things, if 3 to 4% or somewhat like that, if you give error, you are not supposed to use robots. Okay. Normally robotic things, what you are supposed to have is, it will take the repeatability will be very high. That is, repeatability will be there, accuracy will be there. Okay. Accuracy, it is very accurate. Okay. This is the basic introduction regarding the robot. Okay. Now another thing is there, that is the robot, um, it works on the principle of n number of parameters will be there, but the robot should sense also. Okay. For that kind of a thing, robots have some sensors. Okay. There are n number of sensors will be there for a robots. Okay. That is, one is light sensor is there, and then sound sensor is there, temperature sensor is there, contact sensor is there, proximity is there, distance sensor is there, pressure sensor is there, tilt sensor is that if you want to do tilting and all, we have to give tilt sensor. And then normally normally in your childhood days or somewhat like that, you are supposed to have a remote control car or somewhat like that. It's a bit of a kind of a robot where for example, I will tell, the car will be there, the remote control car, it will go and stuck to the wall, and then it will come back once again. If it stucks, it will sense, and then oh, some object is there. Okay. So that it will turn backward, and then it will move forward once again. Same thing here also, the robot works on the same principle. Okay. Now how many types of sensors are there? There are n number of sensors are there. Light sensors are there to detect light. Sound is there, based upon the sound, voice, everything will be there. Temperature is also there, contact sensor is there, proximity, distance, n number of things are there. Okay. Now these are all the different types of sensor I have taken from some internet sources and all, only for the understanding purpose. Okay. Next is another thing is there, that is very much important is the robot. You can see this one, it is doing the welding of the part or somewhat like that. Okay. This is the robot, it starts doing welding of part. Okay. In another some this is the brief this is the that is there are a number of things are there, but for understanding purpose I have taken all these images from the internet, okay, only for understanding for my students, okay, not for any other purpose or something like that, okay. If you have any doubts you can ask regarding the robot, so that in the next class we will do the detailed things what you are supposed to have in a this one, but for your syllabus this is the thing, okay. Thank you.